And Elizabeth, too. So much for al-Qaeda on the run. The president last night changed his tune from what he said earlier on the war on terror.
So what does this mean for our military? Joining us now with his reaction is the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, Captain Pete Hegseth.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so what was your reaction? I mean, obviously, we talk about the end. The end was outstanding. I think it was unity really happening in motion via Twitter and response across the board. Throughout the speech, though, what struck you early on?
Yeah, obviously it was powerful to watch that Sergeant First Class Army Ranger, 10 deployments, and what he represents really a whole generation. We all sort of feel what he feels, even though he went through so much more. The mention of al-Qaeda and that they're on the resurgence, that they're out there, the threat still exists. No brainer for anyone paying attention, but certainly a change for this administration that said they were on the run, on their heels. Now al-Qaeda affiliates are suddenly relevant to them.
Okay, you're talking about what the president said in 2012. Here he is talking about al-Qaeda.
I said we'd refocus on the people who actually attacked us on 9/11. And today, al-Qaeda's on the run and Osama bin Laden is dead.
Okay, that turned out not to be true. Here's the president last night.
Fact is, that danger remains. While we've put al-Qaeda's core leadership on a path to defeat, the threat has evolved as al-Qaeda affiliates and other extremists take root in different parts of the world.
So it turns out you didn't have to have known Osama bin Laden and been a core member of al-Qaeda to be a threat. You can morph, and you've morphed in different places. The irony is a couple sentences later, he listed countries where al-Qaeda is back. The third country he listed, Iraq.
Right.
And why are they back? Well, we can point a lot of fingers there, but when you end a war rather than finish it, al-Qaeda fills that vacuum.
How about what was spoken in terms of veterans? He talked about veterans' benefits, making sure, he said he would use his pen and his phone to use executive order for other methods and conversation items, be it minimum wage. But when it came to the veterans, there was kind of muddy talk there, right? So he said, we'll do whatever it takes, but wasn't mentioning executive order then. Did that bother you?
A lot of vague talk. Of course it did. He could use his pen and his phone a lot more to call the Department of Veterans Affairs and Aaron Shinseki and say, hey, get it together here. Why are we not doing more? It's always easy to go to platitudes. It's always easy to say we're going to slash the backlog. Never gets into details, never really focuses on it. And it's a great point about executive order. We heard executive order throughout, yet nothing what he could have done to bring even more accountability to the Department of Veterans Affairs. The backlog's gone down. The appeals backlog has gone up.
Sure. Right. Captain, you just mentioned where he talked about slashing backlog. If you missed it last night, here's the president.
As this time of war draws to a close, a new generation of heroes returns to civilian life. We'll keep slashing that backlog so our veterans receive the benefits they've earned and our wounded warriors receive the health care, including the mental health care that they need.
Actions speak louder than words.
It's almost an exact, he almost used the exact same quote a year ago to talk about it. Status quo remains the same. We've even seen, for veterans and troops, a lot of the cuts falling on the back, the COLA cuts and others. I mean, it isn't an open and shut case that that's what he's done. I also got mentioned from a couple of Gold Star mothers wishing they had mentioned families of the fallen, which oftentimes don't get mentioned.
Those cuts that you mentioned, up to $80,000 for those who have served, something for people to pay attention to. Thank you so much for your reaction last night. Up late, worth the wait being up there to hear what the president had to say.